Welcome to 24 Hour Sports. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And today I need you guys' help. I think this is the hardest player that I've had to evaluate all season. We're talking about number 1 overall draft pick defensive end Travon Walker. I just don't understand. I had to go back to the college film because this wasn't the original video idea. I was going to do a playlist of grading the rookies. I was going to look at Aiden Hutchinson, Sauce Gardner, Tariq Woolen, all of those guys and just give them grades for the season, how they look this season. But I wanted to start it off with Travon Walker because he's an interesting player, interesting talent. He's versatile, but I think that's the problem. Because he's so versatile, we're seeing the Jacksonville Jaguars pull an all-time failure. I'm not going to be the one to sit here and say Travon Walker is a draft bust, but I'm going to be the one to sit here and say that the Jacksonville Jaguars are not correctly using Travon Walker. The coaches are leading him astray. I don't think he needs to be in that system where he's a stand-up outside linebacker. They're looking at him and the way he's being used as if he's a TJ Watt or a Micah Parsons. I think he's more on the lines of a DeMarcus Lawrence, a true defensive end, somebody that can slide inside or can play the 5 technique. But to see him stand up and line up in these wide techniques, I just don't know. A couple plays I'm looking at, the hand fighting isn't there. Like I said, the get off run, it's not explosive. Only 3 sacks, 3.5 sacks on the season. I think he's had a good impact on that defense. I like when they use him in stunt packages. I like how he holds up against the run. But let's get into a little bit of breakdowns. Let's break down a couple plays because I'm not going to per se grade him, but I still want to evaluate him. I still want to look at this. So let's roll the tape. Okay, so the first thing I want to address is get off. When I've done videos on guys like Micah Parsons, even Aiden Hutchinson, other pass rushers, even James Houston, I talked about how they get off the ball. That's the most important thing for a defensive lineman other than your hands. How do you hand fight? What are your pass rush moves, if not power? But with Travon Walker, and this is fixable. Like I said, I've been looking around, seeing the consensus. What do other people think? And this is looking at his get off. Instead of getting into that 3-step rush, before he even gets into his rush, he's taking already about 6 steps. That's a problem. And it's not explosive at all. And right here, this is a better clip that depicts exactly what I'm saying. It's no sense of urgency. He's holding his quadrant. We just see a long arm, and once he loses the rep, he resorts to trying to win with power. That's not going to work every time in the NFL. And I don't want to say it's a bad habit, but I know it worked a lot in college, and he's a power rusher. He's going to have to develop into more of a finesse guy to have some moves when going against these left tackles, right tackles, but it's just not there yet. But at the same time, as soon as I say that, I turn around and I see a play like this, and it's like, man, I don't even know what to think. And that's why I say this is one of the more confusing players to evaluate, one of the most confusing number 1 picks ever to evaluate, because he can do this. And contrary to his past 2 rushes, look at how he gets off the ball right here. The lineman is in an uncomfortable position, as soon as he shoots his hands, he swipes him and he bends around the edge, gets his sack of this game, and it's just that pops off my screen. That say, oh yeah, I want to take him number 1. 6'5", 280 can do something like that. I mean, how can I not? And then on top of that, in the same game, being able to sniff out a running back screen and get an interception in an NFL debut, that's awareness. That's being a smart football player. We seen it all in this game. And now you get to thinking, and you wonder, how does a guy who can do this finish an entire season with 3.5 sacks? You can't even answer that for me. So now, and I understand that coaches don't go out on the football play. They don't go pad up and play. I understand that. But let me be the first one to tell you, Travon Walker has potential. He can be in that conversation with the Aiden Hutchinson. But with this coaching staff, with how they're using him, I don't know if we're ever going to be able to see the version of Travon Walker that we expected when we took him number 1. Hopefully things change. But let me show you some of the plays that show you just exactly what he is. Because I would be discredit him if I just show, the losses on pass rush reps. We understand that. We understand there has to be some development there and some more creative, better ways to use him. But let me show you what he has done to prove that he could still be worthy of this number 1 pick title. Right here, holding up against the run game. You're not really moving him. You're not. And he's strong on the edge, so that's a plus. Plus run defender. And even right here against the Colts, we see a dip and a bend around the edge. It's good. He doesn't get the sack right here, but he still forces Matt Ryan to step up into the pocket. It shows you that he can do this off the edge. Just know this is not every play. We're not seeing a lot of this every play. Another play against the Colts, we see a push, pull, and a rip. This is a good move. This is an advanced move for a pass rusher, and he wins on this rep. Like I said, he doesn't get the sack right here, but he's still getting pressure. Still forcing Matt Ryan to run. That's always a plus. So I can see it. I can see it, but do the Jaguars see it? Do they see that they have to change their approach and how they're using him in their scheme? Right here, this is a play against the Chargers, and this is his go-to move. The bull rush is Travon Walker's go-to move. But to even think we got a guy who has a solid bull rush off the edge and can win with that a lot of times, if we can just work with him and improve that array of pass rush moves, what lineman is going to be able to consistently block him? You worry that he can already put you in the quarterback lap. Now you got to worry about his hands. Now you got to worry about his explosiveness off the ball. And that's why I say it's confusing, because I just haven't seen that this season. Hopefully next season something changes, but right now I'm confused.